Right, so today, we're going to be doing the movie review for Knives Out. Yes, I have now seen this movie. It's incredibly good. 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Incredible reviews, very critically acclaimed. Yes, incredible, you must say. And it's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. It's directed by Rian Johnson, and it's also written by Rian Johnson. Incredible. But definitely better than, well, definitely, obviously, better than he did on The Last Jedi, because that obviously wasn't that great. As many of you probably will agree. It's got incredible cast. It's got Daniel Craig, Ana de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Toni Collette. Incredible, absolutely incredible, all famous people. It's very interesting, and I must say it's very twisty and turny at some points because of all the it's a murder mystery. Said that exactly 1 minute into the video. Incredible. And basically, it's a really good murder mystery. It's not predictable, and you can't really tell what's coming next because of all the twists and turns. There's so many plot twists in this movie. I literally can't count. Not just because I'm a dunce, also because I'm stupid, also because there's so many of them, at least over 10, and it's insane. So, spoilers. So first, it shows the house. Many people in the house. There's Toni Collette plays Johnny, this hippie, Instagram influencer. There's the 85-year-old, amazing murder mystery writer, played by Christopher Plummer, and he sold over 80 million copies of his books in 30 languages. His publishing company is run by his son, Walt, and Walt's brother, also, obviously Christopher Plummer's son, is what's her name again? Linda, who is Jamie Lee Curtis, and this is a huge extended family all living in one. There is Marta, the nurse of Christopher Plummer, but she lives in her own small flat house. Yeah, flat with her friend and her friend's mum, I think. Basically, one time when after a party celebrating his 85th birthday, nurse Marta, she goes up. It's about 11 o'clock at this time to put Christopher Plummer to bed. So, as a tradition, they play their game of, don't know what it is, like checkers or something. And then, thing is, she goes to give him his medication after she wins the game because she's better than him. She accidentally switches the morphine and the other health drug around and gives him 100 milligrams of morphine instead of just 3, and 100 milligrams of the other thing. So he's gonna die in exactly 10 minutes. So she goes to call 999, but he stops her, and he's not afraid of death, so he keeps on joking about it in this time. It's not actually that violent, and so he tells her to do this plan. So when the police come, because obviously he's gonna die, there's no exception, he's definitely gonna die because the police won't come in time. He tells her to foil it all up, so it doesn't look like she killed him, in which she actually has. But that doesn't go all that well, because when she foils it and he's gonna die, he sees him in the bedroom with a knife at his throat, and he slits his throat before he can die of the shock, because he's not afraid of death. There's blood everywhere, but then soon she gets out and starts crying because she's probably going to get found out by the police. And this movie, it goes on for ages. It's the suspects and everything. It's insane. She eventually ends up with all the money from the will, and Chris Evans, who plays Ransom, tries to help her, but eventually he, spoiler alert, is actually the murderer. He switched over the morphine, it wasn't actually, she didn't actually give him 100 milligrams of morphine. He just switched the liquids over because he wanted him to die, because Christopher Plummer, the murder writer, told him he wasn't going to give Ransom, Chris Evans, any money in his will because he'd not self-made himself. He just didn't have a job. He hadn't ever had a job, and all he did was rely on his parents, who is Jamie Lee Curtis and Richard, another actor, I don't know. Yes, so he wasn't going to leave any money in his will. So Ransom got angry. Uh-oh. So yes, remember to like and subscribe to this video if you enjoy so far. And it's an incredibly well entangled plot. It's very twisty turny about around the end. Daniel Craig has an incredible performance, and I'd give this film an 7.8 out of 10 so far through the film. But to the end, it gets very complicated, and it's incredibly hard to understand with the all switch morphine around and the timings of everything. It's incredibly well written. Everything makes sense. Everything makes sense if you hear it slow. But when you hear it fast, it's incredibly hard to listen to. Daniel Craig, an incredible British actor, has an incredible southern accent, southern Louisiana accent in America. It's incredible. If you haven't seen the trailer, go watch it. Hopefully I'll put the link in this video. If I haven't, I'm sorry. Yes, he's the detective, and no one else knows why he's here, because obviously someone's called them because they suspected it was murder, and so he arrived, and it was an anonymous caller, so he doesn't know who actually to ask him to come to the place. So yes, it was anonymous, and it ends up that actually Ransom is the murderer, even though he pretended he helped actually Marta figure out and try and escape from the people trying to blackmail her. I haven't mentioned this yet. Blackmail her into giving them the ransom money, which is actually pretty scary. The film is actually quite scary at some points. I think it's most scary, as seen in the trailer, when she goes down into the cellar of this place where the person who blackmailed her has told them to meet, and then she can hand over the ransom money so they don't tell the police that she accidentally murdered them, so she'd get in trouble, and her mother and her family will get deported because they're illegal immigrants. Well, she's not an illegal immigrant, but her mother is, so her mother will get deported. Her mother lives in a different part of the country. So when she goes over to hand over the ransom money, guess what? There's someone in a dark room, sitting on a chair, passed out. And when it's incredibly dark, you can't see who it is. So when she goes to get her phone out to put the camera on, when she puts the camera on, you can see there's a huge spider on her face. It's not huge, but incredibly scary, as you don't know what's coming next. If you've seen the trailer, you do know what's coming next, but it's incredibly atmospheric in the whole movie overall. It's incredible. So basically, that happens. It's actually the kitchen maid, the housemaid in the film of the late well, it's not late, Christopher Plummer, the movie, the murder mystery guy, and so she goes into a shock after she's been secretly given milligrams of morphine to live on. So this is what happens next. Because she's so kind-hearted, Marta calls the police, even though she'll probably get arrested for it when she hasn't done it, and tries to save her. She ends up saved. But does she? At the end, she dies. And at the end, Daniel Craig and Wagner and Elliot, the detectives, they all have a plan with Martha to find out Ransom's plan, and they pretend that Martha's okay when Chris Evans, Ransom, says she's dead. Then they've actually been holding a secret that she actually died in hospital. So sad. So yeah, at the end, this is hilarious. So basically, because she told a lie that she was actually, that they pretended that she was still alive. The thing is with Marta, every time she tells a lie, she throws up. That's why she was such an asset to the detective team, so she couldn't tell lies. When she told a lie, she throws up every time. So she threw up on Ransom because they knew Ransom was the murderer at this point. Ransom. So I have to explain this first. In the living room of their house, there's a huge statue, like not statue, but it's like this place where you put all your knives on it. It's got hundreds of knives on it, all pointing to the middle where the person's head would be when they sit in a chair. So he grabs one of the knives out of it and goes to stab Marta, which is incredibly scary in the film because you can see in the trailer that she's trying to hold her hands in front of her to stop the knife. Well, obviously that wouldn't really work well. Then when he stabs her, it's incredibly funny and atmospheric. I mean, it's hilarious. It's actually a retractable knife, so you can't actually stab anyone with it. It's hilarious because then he's got sick all over his face because she threw up on ransom. Then they just grab him and he goes, "Oh shit!" And then he gets taken by the police. End of movie, really. Everyone else in the family suspected Marta murdered him because she got all of the will money, and they suspect she blackmailed whatever and threatened him to give her all the money and killed him anyway. And so yeah, that's most of the plot. I think Ana de Armas, who played Marta, was a pretty good actor in this movie. I mean, she's just incredible acting, but I think Chris Evans and Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis were better because I feel like Ana de Armas's character, Marta, didn't evolve that much throughout. She didn't have any other things to talk about apart from the murder and her mother, and I don't think that settles very well with the audience. I mean, it wasn't that interesting. When Chris Evans and Daniel Craig on Jamie Lee Curtis, there's a lot more comedy on it than it says. And Walt and his wife have this kid who was in the actor that was in It, Jaden Martell. He plays this Nazi internet troll student who he's really rude to everyone online and stuff. So he's a troll online bully. And he says some outrageous stuff that I guess is due to fake news on the internet, which is hilarious. So that's some good points about the movie. And let's get to the good points. It's not very predictable. All the suspects change all the time, so you never know. You never actually. So in murder mysteries, when you guess who the murderer is throughout the whole movie, and you stick with that character for the whole movie. It's not like that with Knives Out. It's incredible. You have to keep guessing throughout because all the lists change all the time. It's incredible. And then the plot is absolutely incredible. But the thing is, it can be very twisty and turny at some points, quite hard to understand, especially around the end. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. A very good runtime. It felt like it was way longer. Well, no, it felt like it was only about an hour and 50 minutes, actually. But yeah. I'm just watching this TV screen at the moment. It says, Alexa. It says Alexa.
I didn't hear that. Please try that again.
Okay, yes. So yes, this is my movie review for Knives Out. Overall, I give this movie a 7.8 out of 10, as I said. IMDb gave it a 1.8.1. 1 point something would be incredibly low, the worst in the whole world ever. And Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 97%. That's incredible. As I said, yeah, check out my other stuff if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.